Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are dispensing with the pre-show today because, well, it's already later than I wanted it to be, but we're still kind of, actually only a half an hour short of the normal time here. However, I did want to start around 1 o'clock usually with these streams because there's a lot to play here and there's a lot of tinkering to do in the garage, which is what we're going to do now. Because I want to have a look at something, because, last time we were playing, last night, we started to trend into medium-heavy builds, and, we, encountered some issues with, well, basically everything. The Karasawa is okay. You could definitely get it to work, I think, but it wasn't exactly, shit-canning literally everyone in, like, 3 shots. But we can't have shit like that no more. However, maybe the Coral Karasawa that you get in Arena 3 is, well, apparently the Coral Moonlight. The Coral Moonlight does more damage on its combo than it does on its charge. So maybe the Coral Karasawa would be better in the same capacity, whereas just a level 1 charge does the most damage or is the most, like, DPS efficient. So that's kind of the way I was doing it, because, yeah, kind of fuck standing still, but on standing still, we should probably go look at, see, how good can we make anti-stagger? Right? How good can we build for that? Because that's definitely something I want to see. Because the bosses cheat like nobody's business with stagger recovery. Owning 2 Karasawas is a bit over the top. Pairing it with a blade and a good light shoulder weapon is pretty good. Yeah, it's definitely a weapon that functions better if you don't just try to do 2 Karasawas. You could definitely get it to work, but it's probably more efficient to use it as a primary weapon and then be normal with that, right? Just be normal and don't try to take everything to an extreme. However, this game is taking everything to an extreme, so why not? Dude, imagine 2 Coral Karasawas and 2 normal Karasawas. I don't think we could even build a mech that could handle that. I don't even think you could actually get that onto a mech. But you would actually, the fucked up thing then is you use the Coral Karasawas for, burst fire, overheat them, swap to the regular ones, charge, and then do all sorts of horrible things. But judging by the energy requirements of the Karasawas themselves, here, the game's probably balanced around you not being able to mount 4 Karasawas. Or you're gonna have to pull some shit to get that done. But, okay, so what we're going to do is we're gonna hop back to, actually, since we're probably gonna, go back to, basics with this one. We're probably not gonna strip this all the way down, but let's just start from the beginning here, I suppose. So let's just start from the top. I probably should have saved the default mech as a, as basically a blank to start from, but let's see what we can do with building for anti-stagger. And hello, Sagasu. We just started, now we're going to look at medium-heavy with high anti-stagger, or attitude stability, as the stat is called, and anything else we can get, because, boy, I'd love to see if we could just eliminate stagger as a problem. That'd be great. So, let's see here. What do we want? Well, let's just get rid of all the weapons, because as we did with the light build, that's actually functioning pretty okay, even though we needed to go full-on cheese. We'll just start with the frame, and then we'll move up to weapon systems. However, this thing, banned. We're not doing that. I want to actually build something that isn't, like, the atypical crutch. And that's probably going to be fairly difficult. But no Zimmermans, none of that, PvP shotgun meta shit. No needle railguns. I'm putting down the pile driver because I want to actually build for the chainsword. I want to actually use that, and that requires a different mindset, and hey, we're building a different mech, so might as well apply something different, right? But as we have seen, the whole game is, okay, how do you build ACS overload as fast as humanly possible? It doesn't matter how you do it, you're doing that. No matter what you're doing, you are trying to do that. For the most part, anyway. The missile build that we came up with was actually pretty okay at not just memeing ACS overload as fast as humanly possible, because it had no shock. It was basically just about pissing on the enemy until they died, which was fairly effective, but something tells me that while functional, probably isn't going to be competitive at the highest levels of what the game can throw at us, like that surprise 3v1. Yeah, how about that? Wasn't that fun? That, and then God knows what else. And it probably wouldn't work in PvP as well, or rather wouldn't be as fantastic as it appeared against the test AC. So it probably works, but it's probably not fantastic. But, so it would appear that the entire metagame is, I build stagger, I stagger you, and then I take advantage of the crits to take as much hit points from you as humanly possible. Up to instantly killing you being the objective. So, it doesn't really matter what we put on the mech, so long as it actually we're just finding a funny way to, to create as much stagger as, like, 2 needle guns. That's really it. You're just trying to do the same thing a different way, which I suppose functions as a gameplay sort of mechanic, but I really don't think that stagger should be as, like, key to everything as it appears to be. But let's see if we can eliminate stagger as a problem, because that would definitely actually be a severe, bonus for us against, like, bosses. But we are putting the chainsword on this. So if we need a melee weapon, we are still going to be, trying to, do stuff with melee, and the chainsword requires a different sort of touch, or a different, approach to it, because it's like an opener rather than a finisher, as is all the other melees, apparently. Or that's how they're optimally used, anyway, right? We get the ACS stagger, then we go in for the melee, and we do shit tons of damage. And as we see with the pile driver, we just instantly kill people. Which is fun, but let's try something different. But okay, so, what gives us stagger? Okay, attitude stability, the head. Attitude stability is also on the core. Attitude stability is not part of the arms. And it is also part of the legs. So, legs, core, head. Arms, irrelevant, but we can probably also beef up defenses with the arms. So, this is this is just the legs, the core, and the head. So, what happens if we jack that up as high as we can get it? So, I think this is, whatchamacallit, the Viril is actually the most stable in terms of attitude stability, but let's double check. We gotta beat 469, which I don't think we can. Wait, no, wow, really? The Pat Labor head has higher attitude stability? Interesting. And that's it. Okay. Granted, the Viril probably has better overall defenses. Like, yeah, no, the Viril just has better defense for slightly less attitude stability. Which is, I suppose, agreeable, but also attitude recovery. That's another thing as well. We want to get that stat down as far as possible. And, wait, hang on here, because it's going down and it's red, but the ability for the ACS to manage strain. Lighter overall weight increases this value, leading to faster recovery from residual impact. So light builds recover faster. I didn't notice, though then again, I'm packing a lot of heavy shit on the light build. So, So, I guess we'll try 2. We'll try for, fuck you, I have attitude stability, and then, high recovery. I definitely want this to be durable and effectively, to a point, being able to walk through the enemy fire and just not give 2 shits. Though, then we probably want to be using the Vril, but let's give this a test here to see what the extremes look like. Okay, so, head selected. So, let's see. Stability 476. Okay, so 629. Can we get higher than that? 641. And all right. Main dish. Thanks, Carla. So that is the highest stability core, but the attitude recovery is going down. So it looks like we're trading high initial stagger resistance for I get staggered and I recover really quickly. That seems to be the two things, because obviously attitude stability, you know, these parts are heavy, so you're not getting recovery when you're getting stability. So it's, you can't stagger me, or if you stagger me, it's a non-issue. But as we've seen, stagger is absolutely horrendous, so it's never really a non-issue. So maybe attitude recovery isn't really, you know, useful. For those who care, the deluxe edition of this is over $1,000 on G2A. Isn't that the one with the action figure and the whole little, like, hangar diorama? I didn't see that until the game actually launched, but that looked cool, didn't it? Probably would have been worth the, probably would have been, worth the money than, over, like, Left Alive, which was a bad game. But that was like $260 at launch? Well, guess you should have correctly assumed this game was going to be popular. But apparently, it's got a little, whatchamacallit, it's got a little, a hangar diorama with, an AC in the middle. It's rather fun. I think it's the stock AC that has a little action figure. Neat. A bunch of other stuff, too. Also a pin set, which I'm kind of sad about, but I'll probably be able to pick up the pin set somewhere else. But okay, so that's attitude for the chest. And now we get attitude stability for the legs. The Sazabi legs being... That's apparently not as high as the bar goes. We want to beat 877. Okay, that's 924, but that's, again, the bar is only halfway up. The tank legs. Yeah, that's a lot of stability, don't you think? 1630. I don't think we're beating that. Yeah, no. The tank legs are, you don't fuck with me. It's been a week, and we have a negative review asking for a difficulty setting. Well, how about, counter offer, how about you just get good? Because that's what everybody else is doing. Just a few minutes ago, I got the third and final ending and came up with a non-tank tread build that can beat every challenge with skill. Sure, but still, I feel so fulfilled. Good for you. But this is really, you are, as I saw, you're as heroic as you really want. Cheese exists, and by playing the cheese, you kind of understand how the game works. So that's what I'm kind of still in. We built our own mech, but we're still relying on cheese, but relying on the cheese has just shown me that, yeah, no, some level of cheese is required in some of these builds. Though, the thing is, it's all about knowing what you're looking for. Like, we could change around the weapons on, the light build here, but really what I'd have to do is I'd have to rearrange all of the weapons. I'd keep the pile driver, because the pile driver's fucking amazing. But I'd have to rearrange all the weapons to replace the needle gun. And at the end of the day, why not just keep the needle gun, then? It's all about how much stagger does it build, and how fast does it? The needle gun is just like, a lot, and really fast. And so while you could combine 3 other weapons to replace it, you're just gonna be doing the same thing. So again, why do the legwork? Save the shoe leather, as they say. Ask for a difficulty setting. Okay, like Dark Souls, like Bloodborne, like Sekiro, like Elden Ring. But Forever Sleepless, you don't understand! This is a mech game! Those games are different, even though they're all made by effectively the same developer. But that's different because really, at the end of the day, because people are carrying around the expectation that you have to get good there, and the moment you actually have to drag it somewhere else, you realize how shit that is, or rather, how kind of not great that is once you remove it from the gaslighting and the lies, the cruel jokes, cold skill from those games. Everybody hates those fucking games, but to look cool, they strive and they try in those games because if you do so, you look cool. But the moment we take that kind of constraint and put it somewhere that's new, to these people at least, you put it somewhere else that doesn't have the ingrained sort of, like, grandeur or presence, they flip the table and run away because they realize, oh wait, this is awful. They're all fucking clowns. Oh, I haven't kept up in with the story the last few streams. How far along are you in the story? We are about halfway or mostly done with chapter 3. We're on the second playthrough and we're going for the not Fires of Raven ending. So, new game +1, and we're going for whatever the other ending is. Because apparently, according to everyone, no spoilers though, according to everyone, that ending's actually super hype, but I have to look back at the, the fleet engagement and, suddenly Zero plays as we fight Rusty over, in the atmosphere. I'm looking at that and going, wait, the other ending is more hype than that shit? What, how? How? I want to see this now. We gotta. Also, all these games have built-in easy modes, except Sekiro, maybe. They are called magic. Define how, what, cheat? They have built-in easy mode, startup cheat engine, or use cheese. Oh, right, no! Magic systems. Right, no, I get you now. Because magic is bullshit in Dark Souls. Magic is bullshit in Elden Ring. Magic's probably bullshit in Bloodborne, but I don't actually follow Bloodborne. Like, the most I actually hear about Bloodborne is everyone talking about the Cosmic Horror and the Eldritch, spider baby thing, whatever the hell's going on in that plot. That's apparently, honestly, from what I hear, that's like the most engaging part of the entire game. How fucking weird it gets. But that's just kind of Lovecraftian, Cosmic Horror. But okay, so if we wanted to, this will just mean I don't care. So if we wanted to drop down to something that isn't a vehicle hull, where are we going? These have very high stagger too, so the quadrupeds. But what about bipeds? Who's best in class for bipeds? Ephemeria. Okay, actually no, Mind Alpha. Okay, so best in class for bipeds. Just so we know, okay, the dessert of thanks, Carla. Okay, once the bulldozer, or the parts made out of like backhoe pieces and fucking diggers. Okay, and yeah, okay, so the rad parts. The rad parts are best in class for bipeds. But obviously super heavy. But so, pushing it to the absolute fucking limit here, we are once again returned to my friend the tank build. But then, what do we do with... I suppose what we could do is have light arms to, facilitate attitude recovery, right? Because we'd have to, like, shave off some weight there, but actually, funny enough, no. It doesn't really go up or down. Like, it goes up slightly. That's, I suppose you choose one or the other in your build from the looks of things. Also, lamprey shoulders, that's kind of terrifying. But that's got a sort of a presence to it. But so it looks like you choose one or the other. You either do attitude stability, how big your stagger bar is, or you do attitude recovery, how short the recovery time is. One or the other, because they're both like they're mutually exclusive. You have to be heavy to get one of them, and you have to be light to get the other, to get the other stat.
Gun tank in space.
In space. Thank you for the dollar, Tazarin. But we're going back to the cheese build. Apparently, by accident, had high stagger or high stagger resistance, but we weren't actually gaming it as well too. So we weren't actually using the best parts for this sort of thing. The salad. Okay, so where are the... not these. Because I suppose it's just an artistic choice? Really? At the end of the day, and partially defenses? And there's these, and that's... yeah, that's... it's kind of... oh. It's got a kind of a grasshoppery look to things, but it works. But okay, so what's best in class for defenses then? Because it doesn't, it doesn't matter. So we want defense and we want high defense values. Actually, this appears to be, like, we want defense, but we want, high firearms and stuff like that, right? So, what are we getting here? I suppose it's just, dealer's choice here. The VP-46, again, the Patlabor arms. Well, not the Patlabor arms, the kind of Ava arms, the not Ava arms, and then then there's the Ava arm, the Ava wings with the skew tool being used. They're mounted somewhat wrong. This game, trends towards the greatest hits of mecha anime, and it's just great. Like, they tried to be original, but the fucking Ibis fight, I watched Sharklet, shit can, Haman-sama, but that's just a Cubile! That is just a Cubile they didn't even try, but I'm glad they didn't. It's nice to see that shit. So, I feel like they could have been more original with a lot of these parts, but it's nice to see that there's a little bit of something going on here. We really, actually, you know what, they probably shouldn't. I thought to myself, wow, it'd be nice to have a parts DLC, but then, that would fuck with, people having the parts DLC and not having the parts DLC. And it would really easily probably go into easy mode cheese. So maybe you shouldn't do that. You should save that for, as a part of major releases like this expansion that we're getting at some fucking point. So, yes, but no. Sounds like a good idea. Probably isn't. But recoil control, I mean, it depends on what we're mounting, too. So I don't know about arms, so we'll just leave the salads here, because they seem like they're pretty durable. But so, we have committed. I'll probably go back down to bipeds, because style points. I like the tank builds, but we already made a tank build, and it's totally bullshit. But non-negotiable. We are using this weapon, and so I suppose what we should do is just take this in and test it. And we'll, that's Black November's color scheme. That right there. The only problem is we don't have a continuous, a continuous beam weapon to be throwing that shit around. Military. Well, that's what we're doing, but... Test type. The worst parts about this is the Dark Souls elements. Get that EA style of thinking out of here. Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, honestly. The bosses, they could be made better, but Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 are front-loaded with the boss fights. Like, the Juggernaut tuned a little bit better, or rather, the Juggernaut's okay, it's just that you wouldn't expect them to rely on indirect fire as much as they did. The Juggernaut can be cheesed, and even if you're not cheesing the map boundaries, the Juggernaut is very susceptible to just being shelled to death. That's really it. You sit there with vertical launch missiles and you just kill him. I feel like with a little bit more tuning, you could make that fight as good as the worm fight. You need to amplify the theatrics, but you could probably just a little bit. That's the one that's easiest to save. He's not hard, it's just a bit underwhelming once you realize what the cheese is, and when you try and fight him, like, legitimately, the way you've been fighting everything else, he presents a problem because his hitbox is weird, and so is his movements, and you basically make by trying to fight him the way you've been fighting everything else, you make the fight, harder. Bolteus is an asshole, but the problem with Bolteus is that once you actually have parts, he becomes pathetic. That's kind of the issue. The difficulty is entirely in the game constricting your ability to do anything. They're basically they're keeping you in a corner and malnourishing you with build options to make him more difficult than he really is. The Sea Spider, honestly, the Sea Spider is the fight I just remove. Like, I just remove the Sea Spider. Like, the Sea Spider fight comes out of nowhere. It really serves almost no purpose other than to start talking about the Institute shit with Carla, but you could do all that in the worm, honestly. You could just make the worm a bigger thing, and maybe you'll have the worm harassing you while, maybe just have the worm harassing you as you go through certain missions, right? Just kind of have it as a surprise encounter where the electric razor suddenly comes out of the fucking ground and eats everyone. So, maybe you could do that another way, but honestly, I'd delete the Sea Spider. Chapter 2 is weirdly short, honestly. Also, yeah, there's something really bizarre with how the early chapters work. It definitely feels like they had no idea what they were really doing. And there's just some kind of weird sort of like disjointed movement between through the story. It still looks like they had no idea what they were like. I think they had no idea what they were doing, so they were doing what just came naturally. And by the time they got to chapter 3, they actually somewhat developed what the fuck they were supposed to be actually doing. And that's why the game dramatically improves in chapter 3. It may have been outside help from older Armored Core developers actually coming in and looking at the thing and going, no, stop that. Or maybe they came to a conclusion on their own what they should be doing now. Or maybe it's a pacing sort of thing, where they thought, well, we'll make it really hard in the beginning to make it feel like an accomplishment for getting over, and then we'll kind of, taper off a little bit and calm down as we ascend into hype mode for the endings. I don't know. I don't really think it's very, very well paced, and it probably came down to, it probably would have been better, but they probably didn't have time to go back and clean it up. It's probably what happened. Oh, I think the current world record for killing Bubble Boy is like 14 seconds and change. Yeah, no, I saw that on YouTube. Effectively, it's making it's very clever. It's a biped build. He's got the shoulder pulse gun that I don't have, but it just comes down to memeing assault armor and also the assault boost kicks too to get that extra damage in. He's also using the pile bunker too, which I'm not surprised by, because the pile bunker is all or nothing. But if you get all, oh dear God, you get all. It just seems to just invalidate every form of defense. But he does utilize assault armor to force a stun, and then he also, repeatedly does assault boost kick, so ha! And, a bunch of other things. The pile bunker seems to be the top-rated weapon. And for very good reason. It feels cool, and it's also astoundingly effective because it just invalidates enemy defenses. Like, you saw how much trouble I was having with the HCs with the Moonlight Blade. Any kind of pulsed protection just makes that shit completely worthless. Meanwhile, the pile bunker having impact and then explosive on the charge means that you just fly right through enemy defenses and steal all their hit points. It also makes things like the Sea Spider actually palatable, because again, they throw high armor enemies at you, or enemies with a defense, and the explosive damage in the charge just goes, ha ha ha, no. So, that's a weapon, that's just a very good weapon that's suited for just ignoring the enemy's defenses and doing a shit ton of damage. But okay, so what we want to do here is we want to come up with a fighting style. We're probably gonna have to run this through the arena here, but I want to refresh myself with, I want to we would need to learn the chainsword, since the chainsword is very unique. So I want to actually fight the trainer AC for a bit here and learn the ways of the chainsword. Very easy to dodge in that regard, so... We're definitely not boosting. There's that weirdness with the tank. That's very clunky. It looks like you want to use just the slash. Like, that would only really work, I think, against an enemy who's staggered. Eventually, I was staggered. Ooh, yeah. See what I mean? That's it. Whoa, fuck. Wow. He is fucking crippled, too. That's an open... That is a, I am going to stagger you with this. Not a, I am making use of a stagger. That is... I am staggering you with this now. Maybe you could pair it with assault armor to... Yeah, he's... You're fucked. So that is, I am getting a stagger now. Go fuck yourself. Stun gun, pile bunker, shotgun would probably be bullshit. It will, honestly. If I got the Zimmerman on the light build, it would probably be absolutely hilarious. But I kind of avoided using that because I kind of wanted to find my own way, but we just came back to the needle gun anyway. So again, I'm kind of half-assing actually defying the meta, but... So, we're doing kind of okay here. I kind of understand what we're supposed to be doing with the... with the chainsword here. It's, like I said, an opener, which is somewhat odd, but you can have the charge and move around and just do willy-nilly whatever the fuck. But you get in... You have to actually get... He'll dodge that, probably, too, which is kind of annoying. But if you get in... Which is the major difficulty of the entire affair. Actually, yeah. Funny. Unarmed does have overheating. Odd. You wouldn't think that punching some dude would generate heat. Ooh. Wow, actually, that's kind of a... Even the backhand actually has pretty good, like... Huh.
AP at 30%.
The backhand has actually pretty good stagger buildup even if you miss the initial strike. But, again, you have to be faster to really use that. You have to really corner the fucker to get away with that. Yeah, he's just gonna run away if you just go after him like that, with like most melee attacks. But then again, I suppose that other melee attacks have just such a large... Look at that. That is just unfortunately short. So if you were to say... Unfortunately, that put me way over there. So if you were to say... Now, this requires a bit of finesse to use, especially as part of a tank build, because obviously I have a maneuverability disadvantage. God, he just bumps off the front of me. That's really annoying. Right, so... You could use this, but it's kind of weird, because it's an opener sort of attack, but you also have to get the guy to stand still. Huh. But okay. So, we've got that somewhat understood. It does build a shit ton of stagger. However, it would probably be easier to just use assault armor and just, like, force a stagger. Like so, basically. So you would get him real close, and then you'd do... And then you come over, and then... Oh, fuck. It didn't even charge properly. God damn it. Or we'll try that again. You do get lucky. And he starts moving again. So, This is definitely usable. However, you really gotta... There's a certain sort of odd balance you've got with this, because you don't really... Maybe we'll just see how much damage it does in the stagger as well, if we just call it stagger. So... If that was the pile bunker, man would have been dead. So... Alright, so tell you what. Let's get rid of the tank legs for a second here. And what did we say? We had the... Okay, attitude stability. Because it looks like, honestly, gaming for anti-stagger isn't really doing very well anyway. So we have two choices here. So the wrecker legs. Right, yeah, we could probably make her a little bit more maneuverable as well, because we actually have a booster now, and we'll be lazy and just put the Alula on, because the Alula is just the best one. What targeting system do I have on here? Just the basic one. That would explain some things with, poor targeting. So, this is... We'll just put the Talbot on, just for the sake of, non-specialization, or we could just do this, but, generator. I didn't look at the generator as well. Okay, so where is the... Okay, what is it? We have the... I think we have the Santai on the other build as well. I think that's it. I think. Try the light tank chassis, because it's not as long. That might help, but we're gaming... We're trying to build for attitude stability, and just, it... Yeah, that's... You see, that's dramatically easier to use. It's just the tank legs. Yeah, look at that. The lunge is longer, and I'm just able to keep with him way fucking easier. Yeah, that explains a bit. I lost track of him because tracking system, duh. Yeah, look at that. What the fuck? I guess it's because the tank booster isn't as good? Like... Holy shit, it's night and day, really. Oh, Christ. Man, I knew the tank legs had problems, and I didn't think it was that bad. My tank bros out there, they'd be fucking suffering. Tank boost has absolute trash melee boost. From what I see, yeah. Yeah, he can get away from that, so... As much as you'd want to actually get this... You really only get one shot at this. As much as you'd want to continue to hound somebody like that, the melee really... It's really dodgy like that. And he's continuously shooting the shit out of us, and, well, stagger build up is relatively containable. Great.
AP at 50%.
Yeah. There's character to it, undeniably. However, it is very weird, and almost like Its major strengths, what the fuck was that? You can slide off him too? Great, thanks, Carla. Yeah, have a laugh, sometimes at the user's expense too. Oops. Whoops. My ideas are perfect. I build such great machines. Oh, they're also assembled by drug addicts. Oops. You may want and just need to build something better stagger build. There may be a shoddy that works as well. Well, that's just normal stagger. Yeah. The thing is though, the way that the chainsword works, you want to use it as a creation of stagger, not to exploit a stagger. Because if we're just talking about whoop-de-doo, I need to like ream as much points out of a dude after staggering him as fast as humanly fucking possible. I don't even need a fucking primary weapon. Overburdened. Thanks. But if we're just doing that, you know what I'm gonna do. I don't even need to actually go ahead and do it. We just we just stagger him with a needle gun and punch him in the face with the pile bunker. That's it. That's it. But hang on here. Can I? No, I can't load data here. Oh well. Made in Nicaragua. Yes, made by orphan children and drug addicts. Oops. Sometimes it just kind of fucks up on us. Oops. But that's, that's a hit against, using it against things like the pile driver. Because the pile driver, while it's floaty, when you hit the man, he's dead. This is kind of, we're fucking around, really. So, stagger does work in terms of stagger. But let's hop out of here and save this, and then let's build for stagger recovery. So we'll save this. And let's build for stagger recovery. Make that shit as high as possible without sacrificing too much. So now we go in the other direction. Let's see if we can eliminate stagger as a problem. Granted, obviously, overall weight of the machine is going to hamper us tremendously, but this may help us actually, work with the light build, right? The light build that we're already running, which stagger hurts. Stagger hurts a lot. So maybe we can work on improvements indirectly here. So what we want to do is we want to lighten this bitch up as much as possible. So we're gonna put the junk parts on, because I know they're just immediately the lightest fucking things here, because there's nothing in them. They're barely holding together. Okay, so we already know that the headpiece is actually, aside from the Viril, the Patlabor head is actually one of the best for attitude stability, so we might just want to keep that on there, just as a note of, stability, to give us some stability. Because, we'd like to, you'd want to abandon it for recovery, but you also don't want to get staggered every 3 fucking seconds. Would a lighter melee build with a shield to prevent stagger work? I mean, possibly. We also don't have that fucking oppressive shield King has. I want that shield, because that thing is fucking great. You could just slap that out in front and nothing matters for a couple of seconds. So I haven't really been using shields, but you could definitely probably utilize shields to just halt incoming damage, and that would probably diminish stagger, but they won't give me that shield yet, probably because they know it's fucking busted. But you see, this is why I hate this. We know there are overpowered parts in the game won't give it to us yet, though. Fuck you, put it all in the goddamn shop. But anyway. Okay, so we want attitude recovery. So we want attitude recovery go up. 88. And that would appear to be it. So the Elcano. So, looks like we're working with an Elcano core here. Number go up. 90, 92, 94. Holy shit, we're working it accidentally back to just the same parts I have in my other build. Like, hang the fuck on here. So that's the legs, and that's the the head as well. But what about, yeah, the Fermezza? What is that? Because we have the Alba. What's the difference here? Like, 2 points. Interesting. So I accidentally built something pretty good for attitude recovery while not even really looking at that fucking stat. Okay, so all of the arms are a net detriment over the jailbreaks. All of the arms are worse. I guess we're keeping the junk arms then. So, as for heads, obviously that would probably be better. That number go up there. Because there's nothing in it. 94, yeah, 96. But just for the sake of just, you know, experimentation here, how high can we get that number go and how much are we sacrificing? Oh! 97. So it's not the Elcano, it's actually, wait a minute, this is just our test build again. Wait, we already built this. We already built this while we were testing thrusters. Now, wait a second. Yeah. Aside from the Fermezza legs, I think. So, we can't make this number go up at all in heads no more. Nope. We can't make this number go up in cores no more. Arms. Yep. They all go down.